Project Sentinel, Episode 23, The Step Pin Protocol. 1. The Mapping Room. On Level 10, the command hub had been transformed into a cartographic war room. A massive 3D projection filled the space beneath the Vertigo Dome, a golden needle extending from the sun, through the Pluto relay, and piercing the shoreline marker at the edge of the Oort Cloud. Vance stood before the map with Captain Cray and Bradley. The 50 new personnel were fully integrated, and the station hummed with the energy of a true frontier outpost. 12 light hours of verified clear space, Vance said. But the nearest stars are years away. We can't keep sending the Vigilant out to drop single buoys. We need a faster way to push the Shoreline forward. The projection rotated slowly, the golden line pulsing with each relayed ping from the relays. The room smelled faintly of ozone from the overworked holographic emitters. New engineers moved quietly in the background, updating overlays with fresh sensor data from the Oort fringe. 2. The step pin drones. Zahn tapped his tablet, updating the projection. We've optimized the Weavers on Level 6. We're spinning a new class of automated drone, the step pins. They're smaller than the Fetch, built almost entirely from the hybrid lattice, and powered by a high-output eye module. He showed the simulation, a cluster of 6 step pins departing from the Vigilant. They work in a leapfrog pattern. Step pin 1 skips out 20 light minutes, scans the next cell of space for mass, and pings the data back via resonance. If it's clear, step pin 2 skips past it into the next cell. They build the map in segments, creating a verified corridor as they go. The Vigilant stays at the tail of the chain, acting as the mobile command hub. It keeps the crew out of the blind zone, Bradley added. We only skip the ship into space that a step pin has already physically occupied and scanned. The simulation showed the step pins flashing emerald as they skipped, small iridescent spheres vanishing and reappearing in sequence, each one extending the golden line further into the dark. The room watched in silence as the corridor grew, segment by segment. 3. The dead engineering. Down on Level 4, deep within the aft section of the ancient alien wreck, Chief Jenks and her engineering team moved like ghosts through the silent corridors. The air recyclers hummed faintly, but the ship itself felt dead. No vibration, no residual power, just the heavy stillness of something that had died long ago. It's as dead as the rest of the ship, Director, Jenks said, her voice crisp over the comlink. But we found something important. Her helmet cam panned slowly across a secondary power distribution hub. Golden filaments that once carried unimaginable energy now hung like melted candle wax along the bulkheads, fused and warped by a catastrophic internal cascade. Zahn's voice came back from the cradle. Wait, stop. Can you get closer to the wall? Jenks stepped closer. Embedded in the wall were a series of translucent, palm-sized crystalline slabs, each one etched with impossibly intricate three-dimensional patterns. As her light moved across them, the etchings seemed to shift and shimmer, revealing new layers of geometry. These aren't just storage devices, Jenks continued. They look like physical maps, diffraction gratings. If we can find the correct resonance frequency to shine through them, they might project the original flight paths this vessel was built for. One of the engineers carefully lifted a plate. In the beam of his helmet light, faint holographic fragments flickered, ghostly star patterns that lasted only a fraction of a second before vanishing. The team worked in near silence, their movements careful and reverent. Every step echoed softly. The weight of the discovery pressed on them. This wasn't just wreckage. It was a tomb that had once carried living beings across the stars. A home, a library, a map to destinations humanity had never dreamed of. Jenks paused, staring at the crystalline surface in her gloved hand. Whatever happened here? It didn't go quietly, she whispered. It fought to the end. 4. The first automated push. Back at the shoreline marker, the Vigilant hung motionless in the black. On the bridge, tension was thick as the first operational step pins were prepared for launch. Step pin cluster ready, Zahn announced from the cradle. All 6 drones show green across the board. Launch sequence authorized, Cray ordered. 3 iridescent spheres, each no larger than a storage pod, drifted out of the Vigilant's aft deployment bay. For a moment they hung in space, reflecting the distant starlight. Then, with 3 perfect synchronized emerald flashes, they vanished. Step pin 1 at T plus 20 light minutes, Alara reported, her voice tight with excitement. Scan complete. No mass anomalies. Space is clear. Step pin 2 skipping past, Bradley confirmed. On the main holomap, the golden line, once static, began to move. A new segment appeared, then another. The drones were working in perfect leapfrog formation, each one verifying the next stretch of void before the next drone pushed further. The bridge crew watched in hushed awe as the numbers climbed. 13 light hours, 14, 15. For the first time, humanity was extending its reach into interstellar space without placing a single human life at the very tip of the spear. The step pins were tireless, precise, and fearless, tiny sparks of emerald light dancing deeper into the dark. Bradley leaned forward, eyes locked on the display. This changes everything. We're not crawling anymore. We're stepping. Cray allowed himself the faintest smile. Keep them moving. Let's see how far they can take us before we have to follow. 5. The silent horizon. Captain Cray stood at the viewport, arms crossed, staring out into the void. The sun was now little more than a cold, distant spark. Beautiful, but insignificant against the endless black. Bradley, he said quietly, if those crystalline plates Chief Jenks found line up with the direction the step pins are heading, then we'll know we're following in their footsteps, Bradley finished. And if they don't, Cray asked. Bradley let out a slow breath. Then we're truly the first ones here. And that's a whole different kind of problem. On the monitors, the golden line continued its steady advance. 16 light hours, 17, 18. Each new segment verified by the silent, relentless step pins. Back on level 10, Alara stood before the massive holographic table. The golden corridor now stretched far beyond the shoreline, reaching into what the crew had started calling the deep water. Vance stood beside her, silent, watching the map grow. The station itself felt different now, alive with new purpose. New voices echoed in the corridors. New dreams filled the observation decks. The relic team was deciphering the past. The Vigilant and its step pins were carving the future. Alara reached out and gently touched the glowing line on the hologram. It shimmered under her fingers. The silent horizon is waiting, she whispered. Out in the dark, the tiny emerald flashes continued, small, steady, unstoppable. Humanity's first automated steps into the galaxy. The stars no longer felt impossibly far. They felt inevitable. This concludes today's SFDF log. If you want to ensure our signal remains strong across the sector, please hit the like button and subscribe to join the crew. Your support helps us keep the mission alive. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a transmission. We drop new episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 1800. Until then, keep your mag boots locked. End transmission.